Welcome to episode 1 of Hitting Hard. I'm your host, Christian. You can find me on Twitter at Christian underscore NYYST. So, what's hitting hard? Am I just gonna punch stuff all day? No, it's a new show that I figured I'd come out and do. Chris has got his own solo pod called The Bronx Prescription, where you can follow him on Chris Jr. underscore NYYST and check out where you can find that. I believe it's on iTunes already. And this is my new solo show, Hitting Hard. I have other interests outside of the Yankees, so I wanted to have an outlet to talk about these things and, things we really can't fit in on the NYY Sports Talk podcast. So here it is, and I like the live video aspect of it. So this show will probably drop every Wednesday. I initially wanted to do it on Wednesday, but I had a previous engagement last night, so that's why we're doing it on Thursday. So generally we're going to do this on Wednesdays, probably around 7 o'clock. And then if you don't catch it live, eventually we're going to be releasing this as a podcast too. I'm not really sure about the turnaround time on these types of things. That's Chris's aspect of the business, so we'll let him handle that. We'll pump him up a little bit and make him feel good about himself in that aspect. So debut episode of Hitting Hard. I would love some fan interaction, so if you got some questions as I'm discussing stuff, just shoot them along here and we'll play off each other. We'll see how this goes. I want to maybe do about a half hour, but that might be a little bit long video wise, but anything shorter might be too short for a pod. We'll just see how it goes. I got a few topics I want to talk about, and we'll just see where it goes. So right now, obviously, the thing that most of you want to hear me talk about is the Yankees. So we're going to do mostly Yankee stuff, but like I said, we're also going to do a bunch of other topics on this show. First up, the winter meetings are over with today. Final day. The Rule 5 draft was today. Which is really like the last thing they do in the winter meetings. The Yankees took some guy named Adonis in the minor league portion of the Rule 5 draft. Unfortunately, it wasn't Adonis Creed, so it was a little bit of a letdown from that aspect. Yes, we will get to WWE TLC in a little bit, so we're going to do the Yankee stuff first, and I'm going to dive into a little bit of wrestling talk too. So what happened in the winter meetings? What can we break down here? The Yankees are bringing back J.A. Happ. I know he wants to be called J. Happ, but I just see J.A., and that's what my mind goes to. They're bringing back Happ. 2 years, $34 million. He's getting an option year in 2021 for another $17 million. He's got to reach certain goals in order to obtain that option. It's either... what did I say? It's 27 starts or 165 innings pitched, which, he can easily attain that. And if he does, then there should be no problem with bringing him back for a third year. If he can't, then, you wouldn't want him back anyway. So I think it's a fair deal for both sides. Happ had to come back. If we were at this point in the offseason here where it kind of looked like the Yankees weren't going to be able to swing a trade for another starter, you have to bring somebody in here. So we got Paxton, which it blows my mind how many fans would tweet me, or they would tweet NYY Sports Talk, or I just see it on my timeline constantly. What are the Yankees going to do to improve the pitching staff? And they completely forgot about James Paxton. Like, this guy was a bag of dog food. Like, Brian Cashman did not bring James Paxton here. He did not trade Justice Sheffield, his number one prospect, to have a guy that would be a fourth starter, maybe a fifth starter. He brought James Paxton here to be a guy he can pair with Luis Severino to be at the top of the Yankees rotation. That's just the way it is. Now, you may disagree with that. You may not think James Paxton is any good. But that's not what the Yankees think. The Yankees think they're getting a legit, at worst, number 2. They're hoping he has ace-level potential, and he could if he stays healthy. That's the big red flag with James Paxton is, can he stay healthy? We don't know. We've never seen him do it. What's the most innings he's ever pitched? Has he even pitched 150 innings in a season? I don't know. I don't know off the top of my head, but it's definitely not more than 160, which is alarming. But again, every little thing that has happened to him is and it hasn't been any major structural stuff with an elbow. This is my shoulder, I'm pointing to, or an elbow, a shoulder, any arm type stuff. So, maybe little fluky things, maybe he's gotten him out of his way now, and he can be um the type of guy that the Yankees want, a 200 inning horse that has ace level stuff. So that was one thing that was really annoying me this week, where fans were just like, "Oh, what are the Yankees going to do to improve the rotation?" Like, the short attention spans of people boggle me, because it's just like, it boggles my mind that how you could forget that they got James Paxton. And now Hap was a smart, safe move for the Yankees. It was obvious that at this point now, that whole Noah Syndergaard 3-team trade was kind of a bunch of hogwash, hot air. I don't know what the hell it was. Just got everybody's hopes up, and it was really came at a really poor time in the evening. It was like 11:30. We're all getting ready to go to bed, and then you see people tweeting about a potential 3-team deal where the Yankees going to land Noah Syndergaard. You had to figure that would have been hard to do with the Yankees and Mets trading such star players. 160 is his max. I couldn't figure if it was 140 or 160, but yeah, thank you for what's that name there, Deshaun One. Thanks for looking that up for me. Yeah. So what was I saying about Syndergaard? Yeah. So. You got Noah Syndergaard out there. You figured it'd be a long shot to get him on the Yankees. And then, we're hearing from our buddy in Cleveland, Munch, that, the Indians and Yankees talked, and the Yankees wouldn't meet the asking price. Again, we don't know what the asking price was. We just know that the Yankees wouldn't meet it. And now automatically fans want to jump to the Yankees are prospect huggers, and they don't want to trade anybody. No, you're not a prospect hugger if you trade your number one prospect. I can't see how that works, that you can call Cashman a prospect hugger when he trades Justice Sheffield, who was his number one ranked prospect. So, it really didn't matter to him to trade him, right? So, and again, we don't know what Cleveland wanted. They could have wanted Andujar. They could have wanted Andujar and Torres. They could have wanted, any combination of things that Brian Cashman didn't feel comfortable trading. So, a lot of fans have to give the Yankees the benefit of the doubt when they hear things, because everybody wants to react to a tweet, 280 characters. Oh, why didn't the Yankees do this? Go out there and get this guy. Well, you don't know. You're just hearing that they talked to the Indians about Corey Kluber. You don't know that the Indians could have been like, well, the only way you're getting him is if you give us Gleyber Torres, Florial, Clint Frazier, your mother, your dead uncle, come on now. The thing I fight most with fans on Twitter over is instant reactions, how they just want to bury the Yankees for not doing this or bury the Yankees for not doing that. But you don't see the bigger picture. Like, there's another thing all week long, going back and forth, back and forth. The Yankees are cheap. The Yankees are cheap. How do you know that? Who told you that? You're assuming that in your mind that they're cheap. They have not shown, to me personally, and I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid, I'm not a Yankees apologist. To me, they haven't shown anything that they weren't being cheap, that they're being cheap. Why? Because they didn't give Patrick Corbin $160 million? Come on now, because that's what it would have taken to get him away from the Nationals. That's an absurd contract. And people were saying, well, you're giving 3 years to happen. He's going to be 39 years old, and you wouldn't give 6 years. It's less of a financial commitment. It's 2 years, $34 million. If it doesn't work out, you're done. And if he moves on to hit his option, it's another $17 million, and you're done. You're committing $50 million to the guy. You're not going to commit $160 million to a guy that you don't know about. How many times have we seen National League pitchers come to the Yankees and stink? How many times have we seen pitchers that pitch in big West Division ballparks come here and stink? Hello, Sonny Gray. Come on now. It's signing Hap for 2 years and $34 million is a lot safer bet. The Yankees saw this guy come here. He's and be great. He was, 7-0 with a 2.6 something ERA when he came over here? And again, I don't want to hear about how he stunk against Boston. He had one bad playoff start, and people can't get over it. Please, if we were going to label people bad postseason pitchers after one start, Andy Pettitte would have never been looked at as the great postseason pitcher that he was. I looked it up last night. In his first 13 postseason innings, the guy let up 8 runs, and he got shellacked in Game 1 of the World Series in 1996. But there isn't a Yankee fan alive that saw this guy pitch that would not want him on the mound in a big game. And I'm not saying Andy Pettitte sucks, as somebody told me that I said the other day, or that Andy or Jay Happ is Andy Pettitte. All I'm saying is that you can't write off a guy off of one start. He had one bad start, and it was really one bad pitch to JD Martinez, who should have been the MVP of the league this year. It was obnoxious to me that the guy wasn't even a finalist for the MVP award. So where are we right now with the Yankees, right? You got Happ, you got Paxton. You got to look at it like this. The Yankees won 100 games last year, right? And going into the 2018 season, now going into the 2019 season, is Sevy, Paxton, Tanaka, Happ, and CeCe better than what they trotted out there at the beginning of last year? And to me it is. So already it's an improvement. You're improved. Cashman wanted to go out there and get 2 starting pitchers. He did it. He said preferably elite. And you know what? Paxton might fall into that category of being elite. He's shown at times he can be elite. If he stays healthy, I think he will show that he is an elite pitcher in Major League Baseball. Now, Happ is solid. I called him Steady Eddie on the NYY Sports Talk podcast about a week or so ago, and that's what he is. You can pencil in Happ for 2-3 runs, 6 and a third innings. Like, that's it. That's his line. You know, obviously some days will be a little bit better, some days will be a little bit worse, but you know what you're getting with Happ. And I think the stability of that is very important to the Yankees when you don't know every time out what you're getting out of Masahiro Tanaka. You don't, and you know, you really hope that in 2019, Sevy erases all of those doubts that he is a legitimate ace, because from 2017 going into the first half of 2018, there was no doubt Luis Severino was an ace, that Luis Severino was one of the top 5 pitchers in Major League Baseball. And then he fell off the face of the earth in the second half. So now Sevy has to prove that he can be at that level consistently. And then what else we got? All right, so we said Tanaka, we said Sevy, Paxton. Again, he's got to come over here and prove it now. He's got to prove that he can pitch as a Yankee in big games and be healthy. And CeCe, as much as I love the guy and as much as I like the fact that he's back, you know, he's another guy where you have question marks. Is he going to make it a whole season? Is he gonna be able to pitch to a sub-4 ERA again this year? Is he gonna be healthy enough to give you 29 starts? You know, so you have question marks in this rotation, and Jay Happ gives you a guy that you shouldn't have question marks about. He's healthy all the time, gives you 6 innings, gives you 3 or fewer runs, right? So you can pencil that in for Happ, and you put him in the 4th spot. So, I mean, I'm good with it. Obviously you want it Kluber or Bauer or Noah, but these guys are hard to get. They're not easy. Teams are not just being like, oh, here, have my ace, and, we'll take Greg Bird. It doesn't work like that. So you credit Cashman. You got to give him credit. I know there's a lot of people that don't like him for whatever friggin' reason, but you got to give him credit that he went out there and he procured the best pitcher that's been traded so far this year. Schroman Baseball, if I said that correctly. I can't really see. What's up, bro? Yeah, so out of all the pitchers that have been traded, the Yankees got the best one. And out of all the pitchers on the free agent market, the Yankees, depending on what you want to say Happ is, they got the second or third best one. So improving the rotation is what Cashman wanted to do, and based on what was available, you can't say that he didn't do his job. And if you're saying that he didn't do his job, you're just being irrational or just plain out stupid. And I hate to put it in such terms, but that's what you're being right now. All right, so do I think, here we go, let's answer this question right now. Do I think the Yankees have a chance to get Bryce Harper and Machado? And I did pronounce your name right. All right, awesome. Because, I've had years and years of people mispronouncing my name, so I'm very sensitive to pronouncing people's names correctly. So I'm glad that I got that right. All right, Harper and Machado. I don't know, man. Like, I think Machado's more realistic because of Didi's injury. If Didi didn't get hurt, I don't see a way that Machado's on his team because then you don't need him, right? Why would you need Machado if you got a healthy Didi and Miguel Andujar? Harper, I would love Bryce Harper on his team. I think this dude would mash 45 home runs easy if he was a New York Yankee. That left-handed swing is tailor-made for that porch out there. And you can't sell me that the Yankees don't need another outfielder. I mean, right now you're looking at Brett Gardner being your starting left fielder. Now, I know the Yankees are going to tell you that they want Clint Frazier to be the left fielder, but, and I love Red Thunder. I'm a big Red Thunder fan, but I don't know if the guy's healthy or not. Concussion issues are scary. Anything that works with the dome is scary, and we just don't know about Clint Frazier. I saw a video today that he's swinging off a tee. I mean, that's great. I hope he is healthy, and even if he's not a Yankee in 2019, I hope that the guy has a successful Major League career. But, you hear Cashman, what was it, Tuesday? That he was like, no, we're out of the Bryce Harper sweepstakes, and then yesterday he was like, no, like, we always leave room open to pivot and change our mind. So who the hell knows, man? Like, Cashman likes to keep these things close to the vest. It was like Teixeira. I tweeted this out the other day. The Yankees had no interest in Mark Teixeira, offered him no contract, and then that came out on about 3 or 4 hours before they signed the guy. So you just never know. You never know with the Yankees. I think Harper makes more sense to me because you need a left fielder, and Hicks is a free agent at the end of the season. So, I don't know if I would throw big money at Aaron Hicks, and you might want to leave, you got Frazier there, so there's a whole lot of moving parts. And Stan's better. I would think Stan would be better as a DH at this point. But Didi being injured leaves an opening for Manny Machado to play shortstop and then possibly move. But the thing is, Andujar's over there at third base, and here's the last thing I'll say about this, right? Everybody gets mad that you want to trade Miguel Andujar, right? And I love the guy. The guy came up here and he raked. He was fantastic. He was probably the Yankees' most consistent and best hitter from the time he got up here last year, right? But he's also your best trade chip, right? Your best trade chip right now, okay? If you want to go out there and get yourself an ace, you got to trade something that somebody's going to want. And somebody's going to want a bat like Miguel Andujar, who's under team control for another 5 years? And it makes it easier that you can sign Manny Machado to go out there and replace him. Now, I know with Happ here, maybe it's a little less likely for the Yankees to go out there and get another starting pitcher, but you never know what might happen in the middle of a season. I fully expect that, what's his face? The guy on San Francisco, that guy Rye loves. Basson Bumgarner is going to be moved to the trade deadline. If one of the Yankees starters are injured or CC's ineffective, the Yankees got to go and get that guy. And do you want to trade Andujar for a rental? Probably not, but, if you're trying to win a World Series this year, you got to make decisions. And if Manny Machado's on the team, something you got to look at. Again, if Andujar's not traded, I don't know what you're doing with Miguel Andujar. Because then you're going to have Machado, Andujar, and then you're hoping Didi comes back in July. So what the hell are you going to do? And you can't, it is not fantasy world where you can just say, oh, Andujar will play left field or Andujar will play first base. What if the Yankees, Luke Voit he hit 25 home runs at the All-Star break? What if he's for real? And then you're just going to what are you going to do now? You can't move him to first base. So there's a lot of moving parts here. When Cashman says he doesn't see a fit for certain things, you can't scream and yell that the Yankees are saying this because they're being cheap. You got to look at it. Like, there really legitimately might not be fits here for certain guys. Now, I don't buy it with Harper because they need another outfielder, in my opinion. Yeah, I love Gardy, but come on. You can't have this guy be your starting left fielder. Now, maybe he might be for a little bit, and then Frazier gets up here, and he takes the role. So maybe that's what Cashman's thinking, and he would rather have Frazier Gardy platoon than paying Harper $35 million a year. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here, trying to give you guys ideas of what Cashman might be thinking, and none of it has to do with the Yankees being cheap, because the Yankees are going to spend some money. If the Yankees are going to really spend some money and splurge this offseason, it needs to be in this bullpen. You need to go out there and get two elite relievers right now, because you're losing David Robertson, you're losing Zach Britton, and there's no way that you can sell me a 2019 Yankees team where a bullpen. It's after midnight for you, Patrick. All right, bro. Good night, and you'll watch or catch on the pod later. What was I saying about the relievers, right? So you can't sell me a 2019 team where the bullpen is a weakness. You got to go out there and replace these guys. And even if it means giving a guy like Britton closer money to set up for Chapman, you might have to do it. And I know that Yankee fans were kind of sour on Britton, but I don't think we saw Zach Britton in the Bronx. The Zach Britton in the Bronx. I just think he was still working on getting healthy. And if he's healthy and he's available, this dude was devastating when the Orioles were in the postseason. What was it, in 2015? And then, maybe Miller doesn't make sense then at that point, because how many lefties in the bullpen are you going to have? Bring back Robertson. Go get Adam Ottavino. Spend money on this bullpen. And bring me Marwin Gonzalez. That's the guy the Yankees should be looking at. Can play the infield, can play the outfield, and you can move him. He hasn't lost his touch, dude. Come on. Let's be realistic here. He's out there making moves. I mean, look, he went out there, he got Happ and Britton and Lance Lynn to solidify his team last year. He went out there and he made a trade for James Paxton. Let the guy do his job. I think he's overall done a really good job. And you think he's lost his touch? What did that happen overnight? Because everybody loves Gleyber Torres. It was a pretty shrewd move on his part, right? And, so what I was saying about Marwin Gonzalez. Go get this guy. He's a guy that you can easily get 400 or 500 at-bats in a season, and he might never play the same position twice in a week. That's the guy. And then hopefully Didi comes back healthy. You got Didi and Duhar on the left side of your infield. That's the way to go. All right, so we said we were going to do other topics on this show, so I might lose some Yankee fan listeners right now, but we're going to bring up a couple other things right now. Obviously, guys and gals that follow me know what a big fan of Rocky I am. I saw Creed 2 twice. I absolutely loved it. I think I like it more than the original. It had more of a Rocky movie feel to me, where as much as I loved the original Creed, it was not really a Rocky movie. I mean, obviously, it fit in the franchise, but Creed 2 was more of a Rocky type movie. So Creed 2, I should say, right? And the ending is what made that movie for me. I mean, if you haven't seen Creed 2 yet, I mean, the movie's been out almost a month now, so I'm sorry if I'm spoiling anything. The ending was so fantastic in that movie, and I really wanted to get my thoughts out on this, but I wanted to give people time to watch it. I'll answer this real quick. How do I feel about Familia getting more money than Kelly? Familia's been a closer in this league, so he should get more money than Joe Kelly. Joe Kelly's a bum, okay? People might hate me saying that, but Joe Kelly's a bum. He got hot during the postseason. He pitched well, but the guy's a sucker because he's a sucker puncher for hitting, Tyler Austin, and thinking he won the fight with Tyler Austin. He didn't win no fight with Tyler Austin. It's easy to beat up a guy when, and he really didn't, when the catcher's pulling him back and the whole damn infield is jumping on him. So please, come on now. So now we segue from movie fighting to real fighting back to movie fighting. And Creed 2, man, the ending of this movie was fantastic. I loved it. Sorry if I'm going to spoil anything for you, but just to have the playback to Rocky 4 where Adonis actually gets the fight stopped against Victor Drago and Ivan Drago. What do you call it? And Ivan Drago throws in the towel. That was awesome right there. And then the ending of the movie, and then the ending when Rocky stays outside and he does the fist bump with Creed, and he says it's your time now. That was your goodbye. And Stallone said it that he's done playing Rocky. And even if they do Creed 3, I don't expect him to see it. And then at the end of the movie, the last thing you see is that he finally meets back up with his son. He meets his grandson. With Rocky Balboa. The reason why I love that movie so much is that it was like, I say this all the time, it was like my Rocky movie. It was like, I've been such a fan of the Rocky franchise. I've seen Rocky 4 like 500 times with my dad growing up. And to finally be able to go and witness that in a theater and then being with these people that they treated that fight, the Rocky Balboa fight, like it was a real fight. It was amazing, right? And then that was the way Rocky was meant to go out. So, and then, I was apprehensive about him coming back and doing Creed, but they handled it well. And then, for him to have a second perfect goodbye in the way that he went out in Creed 2, there's no need for Stallone to ever play Rocky again. I'm perfectly happy with it. I'm done seeing Sylvester Stallone playing Rocky because you're lucky you get one perfect goodbye for such an iconic character, and he had two. You'd just be pushing your luck and ruining it for me. Now, to say what are they going to do if they make Creed 3? I don't know. I know Wilder was pushing forward the other day that he wants to play Clubber Lang's son. No, we did the former Rocky opponent's son thing in Creed 2. We don't need to do it in Creed 3. If we're going to have Creed 3, let's come up with something original, please. All right, moving on here. What else do we want to hit on? I said I wanted to hit on the new Avengers trailer. I'm super pumped up for Endgame. They didn't really give away much in the trailer. That's because half the universe is dead. I'm very intrigued to see how these characters come back. They are. I mean, they've already confirmed sequels for everybody that pretty much perished at the hands of Thanos. So and then you got people like Chris Evans, who I believe that was his last turn as Captain America. I don't know if Robert Downey Jr. is coming back as Iron Man or not. He might be, but to see how maybe Cap goes out, it'll be interesting. It's going to be an epic movie. I heard it's going to be about 3 hours, maybe longer, and I think it has to be. I mean, how are you going to shorten it? I mean, what was Infinity War, 240? This movie's got to be longer, right? So you really didn't get a lot in the trailer, but I mean, what could you really get? The only people that you really saw were Stark, Black Widow, Captain America, and then Scott Lang shows up at the end. I might have missed somebody, but that's basically what you got because everybody else is pretty much dead. So very excited to see that. It'll be out in April. So there you go. And the last thing we're going to talk about here today, WWE TLC is this Sunday. The big matches are Asuka, Charlotte, and Becky for the SmackDown Women's title. You got Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles. What's your podcast? We're doing it right now. I don't know how to answer that. Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles for the WWE title, and then on Raw, I guess the big match is Baron Corbin and Braun Strowman, because God forbid Brock Lesnar shows up to every pay-per-view, right? I'm looking forward to this show more than most pay-per-views because I think the women's three-way TLC match is going to be pretty awesome. Becky and Charlotte had an amazing match at Evolution, Last Woman Standing. Charlotte and Asuka had the best match at WrestleMania this past year, so to put them all together in a TLC match, I think that should be pretty outstanding. And to finally have AJ and Daniel Bryan have a one-on-one pay-per-view WWE Championship match, I think will be pretty great as well. Other matches that should be pretty good is if they get time. You got Drew McIntyre against Finn Balor. I know that's just going to be to Drew to get McIntyre a big win, but that should also be a pretty good match if they get like 10 or 15 minutes. That should be a pretty good match. So, we're about wrapping up here. We're at the 30-minute mark. I'm going to try to figure out the best way to do this going forward. I have to shoot this on my iPhone to do the live stream. I want to do it on my iPad because it's bigger, but I have an old one, and I can't get, for whatever reason, Twitter doesn't go live on the old iPad, so who the hell knows. So we'll just continue to do this on the iPhone here. So we're a little over 30 minutes right now, which is about where I want it to be. I think it's just about where you guys can tolerate me enough doing live video, and it's long enough for people that want to listen to it on a podcast type setting where they get enough content there. So as I said earlier today, we're going to try to do this every Wednesday at 7 o'clock. Times and days may vary depending on certain things, but I think if we can come together at the same time all the time, it'll be like appointment viewing, and more people will be in tune to that. So check out when I have information on when this will be released as a podcast, I'll definitely tweet it out. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at Christian_NYYST. You can follow the main NYY. The only old podcasts that we have right now are of the NYY Sports Talk podcast. We are on iTunes. So if you go to iTunes and search NYY Sports Talk, we'll pop right up there. We just did our 90th episode this past week. We had Brian Hoke on. Brian gave us a good 20 minutes or so of his time from the winter meeting, so that was pretty cool. Gave us some juicy, he didn't really break any news, but he gave us some nice tidbits where if you can read in between the lines, you can maybe pick up on some things. Brian covers the Yankees as well as anybody, so if you haven't heard that interview with Brian Hoke yet, go to iTunes. Thank you. If you haven't heard the interview yet, go to iTunes, search. We're on a bunch of other places too, so however you listen to your podcast, you can find us there. Just search NYY Sports Talk. You'll be able to find us. So follow our main account at NYY Sports Talk. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at Christian_NYYST. I'm just going to sign off right now. I don't have a good signature out yet. I'll figure one out for you guys. So this has been episode 1 of Hitting Hard. Thank you very much for sticking around, watching, interacting, and I'll try to be better with responding to certain things in episode 2. The thing that I don't really want to do is to take away from my flow, because if people are just going to listen to this strictly on a podcast, they might, not understand what's coming up. Max, as soon as I'm done, you can go back and watch, from the beginning, or you can pick up, what do you call it? Jesus. This is what happened. I'm trying to read everything and answer stuff, and I lose my train of thought. Or when this goes live on a pod, just pick it up from the beginning. Yeah, and to whoever asked, Wednesdays at 7 o'clock, that is the plan. I can't guarantee it because it was supposed to be the plan last night, but I had other things to do, so we did it tonight. So thank you for sticking with me for this time here. Episode 1 of Hitting Hard is in the books. If you have any suggestions for how this show could be more enjoyable, please tweet me. Leave me a tweet, DM, email, Christian_NYYST, or if you want to email, it's just ChristianNYYST@gmail.com. So, I want to make this fun for you guys as much as it is for me, so please don't hesitate to give me suggestions. This is the first episode. The second episode, we can evolve and we can be better. So let's, this is only going to work if you guys are entertained. So I got to take suggestions, and everybody's got to be, having a good time watching it. So again, thank you very much. Episode 1 of Hitting Hard is in the books. Thank you very much, and we'll catch you in episode 2.